Fala, gurizada, bom dia. David, 11 horas, dia 4/11, uma altinha na XRP, quase R$ 7 já, diz que tá rompida. Tomara que ela continue nessa crescente, né, cara? Notícias de hoje atualizadas. Se tu é novo no canal, seja bem-vindo. Aqui o nosso Twitter conversar sobre criptomoedas, criptoativos, que é o assunto que ano que vem tá prometendo vir com força esse mercado. E o nosso projeto do momento é a Ripple XRP. Cara, notícias lá na gringa, Índia movimentando o mercado, cara. Vamos ver o que os gringos estão comentando. Diz que a Índia tá influenciando lá, um grupo lá da Índia tá adotando o sistema da tecnologia Ripple. Vamos ver o que ele vai nos dizer. Vocês estão percebendo que meus vídeos estão mais rápidos. Eu estou tentando fazer uma coisa resumida para não ficar muito tempo na frente do computador aí. Então, cara, nosso intuito aqui é de estudar sobre esse novo mercado que está surgindo e o nosso projeto no momento é a Ripple. Está tendo muitas notícias em torno dela, está valorizando cada vez mais. Então se prepara aí na cadeira, aí eu vou ajeitar minhas configurações aqui tudo certinho. Vamos ver, velocidade ativada do tradutor também, bora pro vídeo play.
About $26. That's awesome. But guess what happens when that thing goes onto BitTrue? I can guarantee you that that price is going to go up. Now let's get into this. This is big news here. XRP Crypto Wolf. Interest in crypto is growing rapidly in India, and Hindu nationalist group wants to regulate. So we've been hearing since 2017 to present time, India is banning crypto. India is doing this. Meanwhile, Ripple is opening up shop in India. They got a headquarters. I don't know if it's really a headquarters. They have an office in India. Ashish Birla has stated that they have like 80% of the banks.
Cara, tá dizendo que a Ripple tem uma sede já na Índia, cara. Isso é bom. A Índia é um dos países mais populosos do mundo, né?
Already on RippleNet, but they keep wanting to tell you they're going to ban it. They're not banning it. India is actually already using RippleNet, folks. Soon they're going to flip the switch and they're going to use XRP. I want to play you this clip. It's a little throwback from 2017. Stephen Bull from Deep says, more and more banks and financial institutions will join Ripple platform. Think about how many more banks we have joined since 2017. Massive amounts. Not only the volumes of transaction will increase, but also the use case. This is coming from Sameer Garag from Axis Bank. Just so you know, Axis Bank is an Indian banking and financial service company headquartered in Mumbai. Let's listen to this clip.
Yes, please.
How do you see the landscape for cross-border payments changing with Ripple?
So this is about the beginning of this ecosystem in India, and the usage of these platforms and the number of such transactions would increase as and when more and more the financial institutions and the partners on both sides of the country would come on the platform and will start using it. So currently the numbers are very limited. So the partnership which we did was with the Standard Chartered Bank in Singapore with the commercial banking transaction, and RAK Bank in UAE, through which we did the retail bank transaction. I understand gradually as more and more banks and financial institutions on both sides will come on the platform, I'm sure the transaction will certainly increases. And
lembra desse vídeo? O mercado financeiro só tem dois lados para ir, ou para cima ou para baixo, ou você ganha ou você perde. Quanto mais.
And also the use cases, not only the transaction volume, but also on the use cases.
They have done. Axis Bank, a longtime Ripple partner, has done a deal of Standard Chartered. Are you kidding me, folks? Then check this out from Little Lambo. Bitcoin supply from.
Cara, como vocês estão vendo aqui, foi uma notícia do Axis Bank lá na Índia. Lá em 2017 a Índia alega que não usa criptografia, mas eles estão usando direto, cara. Imagina quando eles liberar a parada lá, é muita gente usando, cara, na Índia. Índia, China. Então, cara, espero que tu tenha gostado dessa notícia aqui. Provavelmente ele vai falar de gráfico. A XRP tá quase a R$ 7 já. Então, cara, vamos ver as notícias aqui. Foi uma notícia muito boa desse canal. Esse nosso colega posta umas notícias interessantes. A Índia tá agitando o mercado. O outro vídeo aqui ele vai citar também sobre a Índia. Cara, é uma tecnologia que os caras estão usando, cara. Só não tá ainda bem divulgado. As pessoas não conhecem, que pareça, não conhecem. Vamos ver aqui a outra notícia do outro canal. Bora pro vídeo.
150, you know what I'm really looking for? Get me over $2 with XRP, and then I know there's no stopping this puppy where we're going. Let's get over $2 and I'll be really, really happy. All right, so I think I just hit the mute button by accident. You got me? Okay, I think you guys can hear me now. Sorry about that. Looking right here, the news starts with XRP Crypto Wolf here. Interest in crypto is growing rapidly in India. A Hindu nationalist group wants to regulate crypto. We know, honestly, India has been really like America here. I mean, just a bad tennis match watching all this unfold. But nevertheless, we've seen Coinbase get over there. They just recently acquired a firm to help do what they're going to do in India with crypto. And it is coming, but it has been hard to watch as it unfolds. But not nearly as hard to watch here as in the United States. But one, I live here. And two, I think India is actually ahead of where the United States is. So there's something to be said there too. Let's take a look at this.
Cara, tu imagina a frustração dos americanos sabendo que a Índia está mais adiantada que os Estados Unidos em questão de criptografia, especialmente com a XRP, cara. Digo, vai dar o estouro, gurizada, questão de tempo.
Because you're going to see some names here that show up all the time, and it's not a mistake, right? It's not a mistake. JP Morgan report says central bank digital currencies can save firms $100 billions, right? $100 billions a year in cross-border costs. Well, of course it can. This is not a shock to any of us, but this is where the...
Cara, imagina as empresas economizando 100 bilhões por ano no mercado. Por isso que já estão olhando aí, tem o Burger King, a Amazon, eu vi uma rede de cinemas, o Walmart, estão tudo, vão preferir a parada, cara. Não tem como assegurar qualquer coisa de bater também na tecla, o dinheiro físico tá com os dias contados, cara, eu acho. Não vai ter mais muito dinheiro físico aí. E os países já estão se preparando para isso aí. Bora pro vídeo.
Narrative changes from, oh, it's for illicit activity, oh, it's not really anything. You know, they use crypto to say that it's something brand new, but it really doesn't solve any problems. Yeah. Well, here we see that was all talking their book, and the same goes for Goldman Sachs, right? Goldman Sachs is strengthening its tokenization efforts by partnering with blockchain startup digital asset. Look, you know, all of this is nothing that we don't know. But for me, when I see this news and see the enormity of the players behind us, a Goldman, a JP Morgan, of course it's coming. You know, when moon, everyone asks? I don't ask when moon. What I ask myself is, do these companies, do these investment banks, do they turn around at any point and say, you know, we're packing it up on crypto. We're going to close down our operations on it. We're not going to do any more of that, right? We never hear them say that, because we know ultimately this is where the world is going. And you know that because these companies continue to pour billions.
Cara, agora vem outra notícia interessante. França e China estão, ó. Vamos ver o que ele vai dizer, cara.
Into it, because they know there's billions upon billions to be made. And here's even more effort here. The race to get the supremacy for central bank digital currency. France moves ahead of China in the battle for the CBDC supremacy. But wait till you see the numbers that China...
Cara, França e China estão se pegando para ter uma certa supremacia nas criptomoedas. E tu acha que os Estados Unidos vai ficar para trás, cara? Eles só estão barrando, velho. Eles estão fazendo um acordo. Eu acredito que vai rolar acordo nesse processo. Porque a Ripple, ela vai dominar o mercado. Na minha opinião, se vai acontecer, cara, a gente não sabe. Mas tá tudo se encaminhando para ela disparar, velho. E tem muita gente que diz que isso aqui não vai dar nada. Tem caras aí que se dizem especialistas e tal em criptomoeda, eu respeito eles estudaram, mas cansam de dizer que a XRP é merda. Cara, não vou conflitar com eles, eles sabem o caminho deles, mas eu tô vendo muito bons olhos esse projeto aqui, cara. Eu não quero perder a segunda onda, que a primeira foi o Bitcoin, quem sabe agora aconteça com a XRP, cara. Se for... Então, resta ter uma estratégia, não ser influenciável, aquelas 3 bases que eu falo, e ter uma tomada firme de decisão, cara. O que tu vai fazer? Eu tô com uma estratégia aí que eu vou segurar o que dá, entendeu? Se vir, vim. Se vir, veio, cara. Pode mudar a vida de muita gente. Imagina França e China batalhando nesse cenário e, de repente, a moeda da XRP que vai ser o patamar para transações financeiras no mundo. Eu acredito que pode rolar uma parada assim. Bora pro vídeo.
China is putting up. We know that they've been out front with the central bank digital currency here. And take a look at this. China's CBDC has been used for 9.7 billion worth of transactions. $9.7 billion worth of transactions. Now that's not exactly a corner store kind of numbers right there. You know, the pressure in my eyes, I have said this a lot. I've talked about it for years on this channel. Think of this. No one around the world wants to use an electronic digital yuan from China. We all know that, you know, communist China is exactly that. It's communist China. You don't want to run into the global reserve dollar ending up being something like the Chinese digital yuan, right? You're not going to want that, right?
Cara, eles estão fazendo, eu acredito que a China tá com um plano de querer valorizar a moeda deles, mas ninguém vai com muita fé neles, que a gente já sabe como é que a China é, cara. É um país extremamente, não digo fechado, cara, mas os chineses se adaptaram com essa política deles aí. É uma coisa assim rigorosa. Se a gente tem os nossos problemas aqui com política, imagina tu entrar num regime chinês, que eles controlam tudo, cara. É complicado, velho. Então eu acredito que se a China quiser combater aí, vai ter que usar a Ripple, velho. Não vão conseguir com esse yuan digital aí, só se eles fizerem uma parada de derrubar todas as criptomoedas para eles ter a supremacia, mas eu acho que não vão conseguir ainda nesse mercado, ainda não. Então, cara, é uma coisa que está acirrada. Eles estão vendo que a moeda deles não está valorizando, eles vão começar a olhar as outras moedas. Vamos ver o que ele vai nos dizer do vídeo.
And I think that's a pretty safe blanket statement that everybody understands. However, with that being said, you know, this also provides, as I've said years ago on this channel, business incentive, pressure. You know, you see the continued rollout. Let's take another shift here. Look at the Saudi Arabia rollout with RippleNet, right? And the use of XRP. And look at the rollout in the Southeast Asian region. And what do you see there? Whether it's Ripple or RippleNet, however, whether it's fiat to fiat or eventually going to XRP to settlement, look at the pressure that's bringing itself to a head around the world in the different regions that already have clarity. What do you think that does to...
Cara, eu estou dizendo, a moeda que eles estão usando é a Ripple, velho. Todos os outros países estão, a Rússia, China ainda não se manifestou se usam ou não, mas eu acredito que eles usam. França, Japão, Arábia Saudita, agora os países do continente africano estão usando, os europeus, a Austrália. Cara, tá criando uma coisa para usar ela, entendeu? Vai dar o boom, questão de tempo.
Regulators. What do you think that does to government officials? It makes them realize that the clock is ticking. The chance to be the leader in the fourth industrial revolution is slipping from their grasp. And more importantly, the choice about where you sit in that race, whether you're first, middle, or last, is about to be decided for you.
Cara, eu acho, né, que eu não sei assim, mas o americano tem essa coisa do patriotismo ainda. A empresa Ripple, de repente, tem muita gente que envolve isso aí, cara. Eles não querem sair dos Estados Unidos, entendeu? E o governo tá por ego, cara. Eu acho que eles deveriam fazer um acordo o mais rápido possível. Tá se encaminhando aí, que nem ele disse, a quarta revolução industrial. Cara, vai ser usada a criptografia. Não tem muito o que fazer, gurizada, infelizmente. Então, eu acho que o governo tá perdendo tempo e vai rolar um acordo.
You, because the more you sit here in idle, you know, back channels talking about this and talking about that and putting one more panel together to discuss this and not actually take action. It's not that hard to take action on this. I understand, oh, well, there's a lot of risk they have to worry about and the mitigation of risk because of this new technology. Well, look what the other countries that are ahead of you are already doing and look at what's working. And let's make the 80-20 rule. Let's agree to not do the 80% that didn't work for the other regions of the world. And let's agree to take the 20% that did work and do that 100% of the time. You know, it doesn't really get that complicated, you know, so, and I understand, I mean, I know I'm being pretty lofty with the look at it, but the reality here is that the United States has to get in front of this. Now, with that being said, maybe we saw a glimmer of that. The President Working Group report, which has some pros and has some cons in it about stablecoins, may have just set the tone for the USD coin to become the unofficial, I believe, the unofficial US digital dollar for the United States of America. And I believe that that is possibly the unofficial status of what happened to Jeremy Allaire's Circle and the USD coin, because they're about the only one that are a large enough player to be able to commit to the level of financial commitment and compliance and regulatory standards and all those things that come with it in order to be a bank and to be able to hold measure with what was suggested in the PWG, the President's Working Group report. But that, you know, is another point. Let's switch to this because this is very good news here from Mac Attack. Bitstamp is relisting XRP. Now, there is a catch. There is a catch. And the catch is that it's not for U.S. residents at this time. However, this is a quick look at the different pairings that were offered, and you can see XRP right down here at the bottom. But you know what? I said this in my tweet, and I should have pulled it, but this is how it starts. Don't believe it. It's still true. This is how it starts. Take a look at this, because I said it in the headlines. The XRP ledger halted today. How about that one? Yeah, the XRP ledger is back on track after a temporary halt. Let's take a look at this really quickly. Shout out to Weed Say Win and David Schwartz here for the information. The XRP ledger was stopped processing transactions for about 15 minutes earlier today, which was on the 3rd. This is the 4th. And according to developer Weed Say Win, he says here the XRP ledger is working like it's supposed to. It looks like we dropped below quorum for a little while with four validators being down. No transactions have been lost, but ledgers have been closed for a little while. When below quorum, the XRP ledger chooses safety, and it says here the update lasted not 2 minutes. My original tweet was 15 minutes at the time of the tweeting because I have a decent monitoring and was warned straight away. The counter was at 2 minutes, missing forward progress. It says here, 4 validators down. This caused a lot more by being down. It says every server in the protocol relies on its own UNL, unique node list, for validating new ledgers. The quorum requirement is set at 80%. If more than 20% of the validators cannot reach consensus or remain unavailable, the network is not able to confirm new transactions. Explained by Win. It says here 4 validators were down, which caused the quorum to drop below the required threshold. The average close time of the new ledger is about 4 seconds, but validators were not capable of reaching an agreement, which stopped transaction processing. It goes on to say here down at the bottom, if you go down to it, it says here that finally your XRP is safe, no history is lost, XRP ledger is working. I believe we need more proactive infrastructure operators. CTO from Ripple, David Schwartz, supported implementing the negative UNL feature, which ensures that networks can continue, or the network can continue.
Exato, só para vocês conferirem, não sei se vão conseguir enxergar ali. 6,82 a Ripple XRP, velho. As coisas estão melhorando, Vamos ver até o final do dia o que vai dar. Agora a atualização aí do XRP Ledger.
Making forward progress even when several validators are down. In this way, transaction will continue being confirmed during a temporary outage. Says we need to get the negative UNL feature deployed. More validators is also good, but has some of its own trade-offs. Now, that's exciting about the negative UNL, where it can process transactions going forward, even with a temporary outage. I mean, I don't even know how to understand how that happened. Now, I did talk about this, but stay with me here, okay? Because we're getting ready to look at some stellar information, and I think it really is starting to bring us to another conversation that we need to have, not just Ethereum. You know, when we look at the inconsistencies coming from the SEC, you know, really holding Ripple and XRP itself to a hype bar all its own, certainly against Ethereum and what the unique advantage was there. But I have a question for the SEC. There is now going to be wrapped XRP on the Ethereum network. My question is, if XRP itself is a security, what does that make wrapped XRP on the Ethereum network? Is that not a security because that's your baby at the SEC? And we know that there's been a lot of people at the SEC that have, or at least a couple people at the SEC formerly, that have benefited from Ethereum's success. How's that going to work out? How's that going to work?
Cara, eu vou parar o vídeo que ele vai começar a querer debater, eu acho, com a rede Ethereum. Eu não tenho nada contra a rede Ethereum. Eu acho que é um projeto top também. Graças a eles está tendo também essa parada da Ripple. Cara, espero que tu tenha gostado do vídeo. O mercado tá agitado, velho. Tá agitado, notícias top. Então, se tu é novo no canal aí, seja bem-vindo, gurizada. Até a próxima. Fechou, valeu!